Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kathy. Today we're going to talk about protein. I'm redoing my protein podcast. I split it up into two different protein podcasts so I can talk a little bit more about the things that I've learned since I did my protein lecture. I guess it's been over a year now. Thank you guys again so much for listening. Remember to love, like, subscribe, and share so we can get to more people and they can actually understand and learn new things about protein that I didn't know. Like I said, I do all these things and to make myself healthier, and I learn these things, and then my friends are like, please tell us. And then my son's like, get on YouTube. You need to tell more people because we're not learning this stuff in school. I never learned this stuff in school. So everything that I teach you is my story on how I got healthier, and it will work for a lot of people too. So thank you so much for listening to me. We've got two protein lectures, and this is the first one. So what can you tell me about protein? Text it below. Text it to me, doesn't matter. And what foods do you think about when I say protein? How much protein do you think that people are eating per day, per meal? What about you? According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Americans on average eat about 23 pounds per person of meat a month. And when I tried to figure out how much 23 pounds per person was, it's about 46 steaks. Just using steaks as an example, right? That's actually more than double the USDA recommended maximum protein. And they say that you should have about 11 to 12 pounds a month. That's still 23 steaks. Also, people are eating entirely too many animal products, thinking that they need to get their protein from that. And they're not mixing up their protein sources. And some of today, and then next week, and I talk about the other part of protein sources, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of protein sources that don't come from animal products, right? In the early 1900s, big food companies, the beef company, the dairy company, the processed food company, the chicken companies, the egg industries, all those, they knew, hopefully they, well, you know what? I don't know. They should know, and they did know. I know some of them did know that there are sufficient amount of protein found in actual plant sources of nutrition, right? But that's not actually where the money is, right? And how are we supposed to feed the masses of people with only plant-based proteins? I'm not saying don't ever eat meat. If your microbiome is balanced and you get rid of your stuff that you're eating every time you eat something, then absolutely. You don't need as much, right? And the advertisements that came from these people is, where's the beef? This is what's for dinner. Milk does a body good. Do you have milk? You know, even real cheeses, and put them on your vegetables so your children will eat the veggies. They'll eat the veggies if you're eating the veggies and you don't make a face. Yes, they will. And chicken, eat more chicken. White meat is better for you. And pork, that's the other white meat. That's the midweek meal, right? Write some advertisements below too. Those are just the ones that I can remember from me growing up. Advertisements and those industries actually make us think that we need all these products in our diets. But do we? Maybe a little bit, but not as much as we're getting, right? Only about 60% of the protein that you actually eat actually gets broken down for use in your body. What happens to the rest of it? Extra sub-Q tissue? Consuming more protein than your body can actually handle puts a huge burden on your organ systems of your body, right? Did you know that you can store 20 to 50 pounds of excess weight in your GI system? You see all those little old men with the big round bellies and people with the big round bellies? It might not be an alcohol belly or a beer belly. You could be storing that with layers and layers on your intestines. Imagine what that's going to do. Eventually, your intestines are going to droop. And you'll have prolapse what and what? So where do you get your protein sources? Animal products or whole foods? And yes, you can get your protein sources from both of them, I promise. And you can't say that I only eat chicken and fish, because you know what? all animal products. It doesn't matter. And some people say to me, oh, well, I don't eat red meat. Did you know that all livestock is actually considered red meat? All livestock. Pork is also red meat. Veal is red meat, okay? And what's the advertisement for pork that I just said? The other white meat, the midday meal, the midweek meal, not the midday meal, right? Pork is not white meat, it's red meat, all right? And game meats like venison and rabbit, they might be leaner, but they're still red meat. And then you have the side effects of the red meat too. Chicken and fish are actually the other meats. Complete proteins are all animal products, of course, we've already said that, but some grains, soybean products, and soybeans, yes, not too much of, just make sure that it says non-GMO, non-GMO soy, non-GMO corn. There's a whole list of things that are all GMO for the most part. And if it's not GMO, then that's a little bit better. So animal products, some grains, soybean products, and there's a whole bunch of other ones, but these are all complete proteins. In other words, they're natural bodybuilders, like eggs. They can make a whole chicken, right? Raw seeds, they can make a whole plant. Those are considered the whole foods, raw and natural. And those are actual better building blocks for your body. The amino acids are broken up better for your body. Organic whole foods, right? Absolutely. Eating complete proteins all the time is actually unnecessary, and it makes your body be able to get that nutrition from you. It makes it difficult and more complex, right? Animal products also increase your cholesterol levels, and different meats have different cholesterols. Virtually all meats contain about the same amount of cholesterol. The difference is the fat that goes through the meats, or the marbling, as some people call them, right? The fat around the meat actually is what gives you some energy, because meat itself does not at all, right? Fat, let me say it again, fat gives you the energy when you eat that protein, that whole protein, right? But if there's no fat in it, you don't really get too much energy. Just remember though, meat, animal products take a lot longer to digest. Why? Because there's no fiber in it at all. Flesh foods, and that's what I'm going to call them, flesh foods. And yes, I eat meat sometimes, absolutely. Absolutely sometimes, but not like I used to. Oh my goodness. And my microbiome is pretty much balanced, so I can handle it better, right? But flesh foods supply no fiber, no fuel, and no energy. Fuel is actually built from carbohydrates or ketones. Meat has no carbohydrates. That's why I said the fat might give you a little bit of energy, but that's it. So protein not only robs you of energy, it's a waste of your precious energy to try to digest these animal products every meal, every day, 7 days a week. It's harder, right? When flesh food is eaten, the digestion time is actually more than doubled, right? When you eat animal products, they don't efficiently oxidize or digest or break down or ferment in your body. That's how your body gets rid of things. It's how your body digests things, right? And those waste products, they get into your system. They get into your system. Your intestines aren't totally closed up. There's little ways things can get out, leaky gut, all that kind of stuff. Look it up. Oh my goodness. Animal products, like I said, do not ferment. They putrefy. And they putrefy even more, especially if you eat it with a sugar, right? Steak and wine, steak and potatoes, or pasta, rices, breads, all those things. And if you eat animal products, guess what? There's your bad smelling gas. There's your bad breath. There's your extra weight. These foods affect every single organ system and every single organ negatively if you eat them in excess. And what amounts do you think that your body can handle? I know some of you already watched my protein lecture from last year, and this is almost the same. But how much can your body actually handle? If you eat carbohydrates that actually have protein in them and a little bit of fat, the byproducts is actually carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. And ATP is energy. You don't get that from eating flesh foods. Now, protein, there's a whole bunch of constituents of food, but protein is not any more important or any less important than your carbohydrates and fat and the fluids that you drink. Protein is the most complex of all the food elements, and the easiest food for the body to break down is a fruit, right? So protein's at one end and fruit is at the other end. Fruit should be eaten completely by itself within an hour or two before you eat anything else, right? So you got carbs, and fruit is carb, but it's a carb, a simple carb. It gets burned up really quickly. And then you got your proteins. So when you eat a protein, it takes more energy for it to go through the digestive process, right? And remember I said it's almost doubled the time. And it also gets stored in there too, with layers and layers of stuff rotting in your intestines, right? And you have to have all the foods together. You have to eat all of those. All foods together are synergistically important for your body functions, which means they basically work together. Protein is the structure of many, many body parts. Your cells need protein to make muscle tissues, to repair your damaged organs. Proteins actually help build enzymes, and enzymes in your body help activate things and they help break down other foods. Protein actually helps your hormones. Protein actually helps your neurotransmitters so you can get messages from your body to your brain and vice versa. And protein is very important for our immune systems. You need your protein, but how are you going to get it? And protein is not built in the body by eating protein or animal products. Protein is actually built from amino acids. And there's a whole bunch of amino acids. I'm not going to name them all. But protein is broken down to amino acids because when your body eats that protein, it uses the amino acids, right, to build your body up and do the things we just said. Amino acids are made in our bodies from our blood and our lymph system, okay? And if your body actually needs an amino acid, because we store them ourselves, we have our own, they get taken from the amino acid pool. But 9 of them you have to get from the foods that you eat, and they're actually called essential amino acids. So protein is broken down to amino acids. It has nothing to do with carbs or anything. This is just protein we're talking about. So protein gets broken down to amino acids, and that's what your body can break down so much easier because they're all separated, right? And then your body can use what it needs to. All the material that is needed is from the plant kingdom. Plant kingdom, and their amino acids can be synthesized from air, earth, water, nitrogen, CO2. That's how plants make their amino acids, right? I'm so excited. So humans and animals are dependent on the plant protein, either directly by eating the plants or indirectly by eating the animal that ate the plant, right? So exciting to think about this stuff. Oh my goodness, I'm glad I'm doing this lecture over again. Of course, people that are on the paleo diet, Atkins, keto, whatever, you're going to lose weight. Matter of fact, I'll be doing a diet lecture for the new year. Absolutely. With any diet, you're going to lose weight. Why? Because you kind of stop eating and drinking those fast energy boosters and the crap for the most part. But as soon as you go back, what happens, right? Hopefully you don't go back to eating those things all the time. But if your microbiome is balanced, yes, you can have it sometimes, right? You stopped eating basically the crap like carbs and fats and the fake sugars and the natural sugars. But even on those diets, you might not be getting enough of the nutrition that you need to be healthy because you're not absorbing it as well, because all those animal products take time away from your digestive system, right? And rotting flesh, you're not going to get too many nutrients. Eating too many animal proteins can actually leach calcium from your bones. You need that to have strong bones, right? Now, many researchers and many physicians have found out that people whose diet that is very rich in animal proteins have an increased acidosis in the body. And on some of my lectures, you know, acidosis is not a good thing. Acidosis is the last thing that pretty much happens as you're dying. Severe sepsis, we have to treat acidosis, right? Acidosis causes the breakdown of our tissues and our cells, right? Our bodies love, and they love to live in an alkaline state, which is a little bit more basic, a little bit. So you have acid and alkaline, or acid and base, right? Our body's like a little bit of acid or alkaline state, except for our stomach, pretty acidy, right? Cancer cannot survive in an oxygenated, alkaline environment for the most part. So what are you eating? And remember, 80% of cancer is not genetic, but their cells have mutated because of our lifestyle and our environment. Again, cancer genes are changed by chemical reactions from poor nutrition and from other stressors that we come in contact with from our environment. Yes, some cancer is genetic. And if you get it as a child, it could be that. Or it really, really could be in your environment. Or it really, really could be what you're thinking also. And we'll be talking about that too later on in 2023. 2023, shut the front door. Oh my goodness. So just remember that eating too much protein is not as good as you think. It's been linked also to an increase of the pathways that are responsible for the acceleration or the speeding up of cell division. And what does that mean? That means faster aging and the activation of cancers, because cancers are just cells that just keep on growing with nothing telling it to stop, right? So you definitely need your protein so you can rebuild and recreate your body as you're sleeping after injury and illnesses, right? And now I'm actually learning about stem cells, a patch that I wear that stimulates my dormant stem cells because I'm 57. So I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to wear my patch. How are you going to get your protein? Are you going to get it from meat or animal products, or are you going to get it from whole foods? Here we go. Fruits, nuts, grains, seeds, veggies, algae, sprouts. They give you all the necessary amino acids to build up your proteins. Plant proteins are the most beneficial. They are the most abundant and the easiest for you to digest. Isn't that good? That's like 3 positives in a row. Come on now. And you don't get all the negative side effects of eating animal proteins. What did I say? No fiber. You need fiber, about 30 grams a day, so you can go to the bathroom with a whole stool, right? Provides no fuel and no energy. It slows down your digestion. It bogs down your system. It rots in your digestive system. It increases the acidity in your body. It increases your cholesterol. It increases your weight. It increases your stomach girth. And of course, you can also get your daily medications, your hormones, your acid reflux, GI medications, your antibiotic, your psych medicines. How many times a year do you take an antibiotic? Comment below. If you eat or drink animal products, you could be getting the antibiotics that they are given for prophylaxis and for the infections that they get too. I didn't know this, but 80%, and I'd say more, over 80% of all the antibiotics manufactured, and we think it's all for us, no, they go to the livestock. And still, pork, about 69% or more of all pork has a specific bacteria and virus that they cannot get rid of. A lot of people say, oh, I just don't eat pork. Meat's meat. You're doing a good job, though, not getting that in your system. So how many times a year do you take antidepressants or anti-anxiety medicines or antipsychotic medications? Never? You could be getting those antidepressant, anti-anxiety, and antipsychotic medications from the animals that you're eating because they receive that stuff also. Did you know that? I didn't know that until I researched all this stuff to make myself healthier, right? Those animals receive that stuff. Just imagine being cooped up in a cage or in one room for your whole life. Maybe not even seeing outside, but you know it's out there because animals have a higher frequency. They know there's something better out there. Imagine being in one room along with your neighbors for your whole life. Or imagine being in one room with your whole family for your whole life, 24/7. I mean, that's not funny. I'm sorry. No, it's not good. never get to go outside, never get to go to see the sun, the fresh air and grounding, just keep on producing, keep on producing. So yeah, animals get sight drugs, even the ones who get pasteurized. So if you're going to eat animal products or have eggs, don't say range free, because that could be range free in one building. Pasture, let them pasture raised. Absolutely. Grass fed. Just be careful of the Monsanto grass. I'll talk about that in a little while. So your animals get those medications too, the same things we do. So how many times a year do you take medication for an upset stomach or for GERD or an acidy stomach or abdominal pain or bloating? Never? Guess what? You could be getting those GI medications that they receive because animals get stress ulcers, they get upset stomachs. And did you know that those Tums and those Tagaments and Zantacs and things that you take for your upset stomach, that you're only supposed to take them for about 2 weeks? And your problem should be gone? 2 weeks. Peace, people. Most people take them for years. Change your microbiome. Just do a few little things different. No more dairy. It's so inflammatory. Be careful of how much protein and where you get it from, right? And those animals get those GMO corn and soy to fatten them up. It's not a good thing. Also, preservatives that are added to the meat actually masks the green discoloration that occurs as your meat ages. I'm talking about when it's in the refrigerator. The preservatives are actually, and I didn't know this either, and it broke my heart, they are actually injected into the animal before they get killed so they can circulate throughout the body. This often, I didn't know this actually causes the death before being slaughtered. And I'm not going to think about how or anything like that because that would make me so upset and I'd try not to be unhappy anymore, right? Think about it. How many times a year do you take hormones? I'm a man, I don't take hormones. Guess what? You could be getting the hormones that you're getting for the animals, right? And those extra hormones in your body cause premature aging, impotence, severe hot flashes, painful menses, breast lumps, cancers, right? You're getting that stuff that the animal gets. And they're really fighting about the animals getting hormones because now they're giving them GMO soy and corn and grains that actually plump them up and make them bigger, right? But even if they don't receive those hormones in their food, when they know what's going to happen to them or the injection that they just got, their body systems release high amounts of hormones, right? Adrenaline, and all the waste products in those meats. You're getting so many negative side effects of eating animal products. I'm sorry, but I'm so happy to be able to tell you, right? And I'm not even thinking about, or haven't even mentioned yet, the herbicides and the pesticides, if they're actually pasture raised and they get to go out there and their lands have been sprayed, right? And remember what I said about Monsanto? They're actually trying to patent and sell GMO grass for the animals to eat. And I'll do a podcast on GMO too because it confuses your body so much once they get it broken down because there's so many different types of DNA in that corn instead of just corn DNA or soy DNA, right? So many different types. So I will do a whole podcast on that. I'm just saying, what? I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff until I looked it up, and I have to share it with you guys because you're going to flip out, okay? So what else are you getting in your diet? So again, how much medicine do you take a day? None? Think about it. How much animal products do you eat? How much do you think you take then, right? So don't tell me that you eat really healthy if you eat animal products or if you eat too many of them that your body can't utilize, right? So let's talk about some positive things because I'm starting to sweat and get upset now thinking about the animals, all right? It's scary. It's scary as shit. So some of the things that our bodies do for us, and I have a whole podcast on what our bodies do for us. Please watch it. First, the human body recycles 70% of the proteinaceous waste. Remember, you only use about 60% of what you eat, and 70% of it gets recycled. So you don't need to eat it all the time, that much all the time, right? 70%. Your body wants to live and it wants to rebuild and it will do it, right? Second, the human body only loses about 23 grams of protein a day. And you lose it when you go to the bathroom, urine and feces, doesn't matter. You can lose it from sweating. You can lose it from your skin, sloughing off, when you do your dry rubs and stuff like that. And to replenish these things that you're losing, you need to eat about 1.5 pounds of protein per month. 24 ounces per month, just to replace what you're losing from everyday activities, right? Please, like I said, watch my podcast on what your body does to survive. It does a lot for you that you don't even know what you think about. And then you'll love your body even more. Absolutely. Thank you. There's even distance. There's even a huge difference in the digestive systems of carnivores and herbivores. And I'm talking about, when I think of carnivore, I think of lions and tigers and stuff like that. So carnivores, their digestive system is 3 times the length of their body, but their colon is smooth. So our colon has little finger-like projections and things that things can get caught in, and you have a problem if things can get caught in there. That's why your stool has to be together. Grass eaters' digestive system is about 10 times the length of their body. So you think about cows and horses and stuff like that, right? Well, humans and apes, their digestive system is about 12 times. You can store food for a long time. You should go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times a day. Eat your food, use it up, go to the bathroom. And I'm not talking about Chinese food, going to the bathroom, eat it and go to the bathroom right away. No, you absorb your food, you absorb your nutrients, and then you get rid of it. You don't store it. So how are you going to get your proteins now? What amount can your body can handle? Now, there are many, many thoughts about the amount of protein that people need each single day. And if you talk to men versus women, you need protein because of me. Human body is a human body. Yes, there's a little bit of difference, but not that much difference. And I read several articles, and the RDA states that men need about 56 grams a day, and women need about 46 grams a day. You could figure it out to like 0.5 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. And kilogram of body weight is just basically half of what you weigh in pounds, right? So 56 for a man, 46 for a woman, right? Well, 56 grams a day, and I'm talking about a big old strapping man, that's 2 ounces. That's 2 ounces. 56 grams is 2 ounces. And most people eat in excess of that every single meal. And remember, the RDA actually builds a little safety margin. It kind of double the actual need of nutrients that your body needs to survive. Huh? So how much can your body handle? How much do you eat a day? Add it up. Holy crapness, right? I was like, what? I looked it up several places. 56 grams is only 2 ounces. Remember, if you eat too much protein, it makes your liver process more sugar because protein has to turn to sugar, right? You can use a little bit of that sugar, but the rest of it gets storage. What? Extra subcutaneous tissue. Absolutely. Extra weight on your waistline. Extra weight in your gut from that food just sitting there, not being able to be digested as well, right? And for your kidneys, you should consume no more than 25 to 30 grams of protein in one meal, okay? Because that puts such an extra burden on your poor little kidneys. And people don't even think about protein in kidneys, but if you have kidney problems, they tell you to be on a low protein diet. What the hell are you eating? How much are you eating of it, right? And don't blame your doctors. They don't know this stuff. I had to look it all up for myself. 2 grams per kilogram per day is the maximum that you should have, right? You don't need as much protein as that we've actually been told and led to believe and eaten, right? I know simple meat, potatoes, vegetable. It should be different than that, right? And you know that by now. You know that by now. And yes, there's certain days that you should actually eat more protein. If you're weightlifting or strength training, absolutely. And then have your carbohydrates afterwards because your body's going to burn a little bit more. If you're healing or if you're dieting, you're going to need more protein. If you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, hopefully you're eating the healthiest that you could possibly eat during those 10 months, right? It might even be better if you get those amino acids, right? Instead of the whole proteins. The amino acids are those building blocks of those proteins that you need, right? Now, you know there's plenty of ways to get all your proteins. So many special ways to get your proteins and to be able to break them down so you can get your vitamins and your minerals and your nutrients, right? Just remember, you can also get them from whole foods and plant-based foods. A proper, and most people don't do it correctly, a proper vegetarian diet is in every single way a competent diet for our survival. For the majority of the people. Some people just need meat to feel better. But you don't need that much, right? Plant proteins have the same amino acids as animal proteins, but they also have an abundance of enzymes that we need for digestion, right? And there's really no side effects of eating plants compared to all the side effects, which are almost all bad or negative for our body about eating flesh products, right? Whole foods are easily broken down, easily digested, and overall better for your body. You know it, you know it, you know it. You have to. Remember, all protein comes from plants initially. Plants are multitaskers, absolutely. In your body, they decrease inflammation. They control your insulin response. They give you the fiber so you can go to the bathroom easier. They kill cancer stem cells. Yes, healthier food does help all your cells. They increase your immune system. They increase your immune cells. And plants actually make you stronger. Think about the biggest, strongest animals, gorillas and rhinos and stuff like that. They eat plants and they're strong as shit. My goodness. 1/3 of all Americans are actively reducing their animal consumption of food and drink. 1/3. That's almost 10 million people. Yes, maybe even more, right? So many people are making that transition. So awesome. Besides making your microbiome healthier, your microbiome, right? Whole food diets also improve and replenish our earth. They do. They do. There's so many podcasts or Netflix, right? Documentaries on Netflix. Just look at them, read them. You'd be surprised. And you say, I'd never watched that. Watch it. And you're going to say, what the hell? And then you're going to look for more documentaries on all this stuff, right? Comment below on how you feel about this. If you feel bad about it, I'm not wrong. And just think about what it does to your body. Everybody's a little bit different, but a human is a human is a human is a human, right? I will be doing next week the second part of this podcast to tell you what foods and super greens and about B12 and iron and how much, and I'll repeat again, of course, how much protein that you're actually supposed to have in a day. So the next podcast, we're going to go over some things, a little bit more about protein. One thing that I did find out, and I'll show you now because I'm so excited, Simply Nature. I spend a lot of time at the grocery store at least once to figure out which are the best things for me. And I know edamame, and then they have a soy one too. There's all sorts of ones, but there's certain ones that I don't eat too much of, like garbanzo beans and stuff like this. The main thing about this, and this one, I know it says soy, but what did I say about soy? As long as it says non-GMO. So this, all of them do. Non-GMO, look for this little sign, and organic. So this is a plant protein that you can get, and it's like 3 to 5 minutes to cook. That's it. It tastes really good. It has a flavor of whatever you put in it. And guess how much protein 2 ounces has of this stuff? And this is 4 servings. Obviously, I've been eating more than 2 ounces, so I got to be careful of my kidneys, right? Because I didn't read it at first. I just saw that. Oh my goodness, I love pasta. I can get it this way. 24 grams of protein in 2 ounces. Absolutely. And this is just one of them. If you have your favorite, please show me below, actually, because I'm trying to find the best ones for me too. Because I love to eat, right? And like I said, I do eat meat sometimes. Sometimes my body wants it. And usually it's more than 2 ounces because I haven't had it in a little while. But my microbiome is pretty balanced. Thank you so much for listening to the first podcast of protein. Please watch next week for the Protein 2 podcast, where I name a whole bunch more stuff that have protein in it that you can eat every single day. Talk to your dietitian. Just say, I appreciate you giving me my things to eat every single week, but now do it this way. I don't want to eat the dairy anymore because my body can't handle it. And it's very inflammatory in my body. We're going to try some other things to get my calcium and things that you actually get from dairy. And I want to cut down on my animal proteins because I'm only supposed to have 2 ounces a day. And I know that I'm eating that with every single meal, even more than that. And now I know that I don't need to eat animal products to get my protein in it. And it's going to be so much better for my body. And then I want to hear your stories. Oh my goodness, because it's all about your story getting better and better and better, right? And I'm so glad I get to teach it to you. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for listening again. Love, learn, and take control. And yeah, we actually are. I'll see you next time. Bye.